Okay. Jack, thank you very much for coming on with us today.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate your time. We have kind of a lot in common. Let's start. Tell us about yourself. I mean, I know because I read your background, but our audience doesn't necessarily know a lot about you. So
Yeah.
Tell us about a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Chad Steele. I'm the Senior Vice President of Communications for the Baltimore Ravens, but have deep West Point roots. My grandfather was a Buffalo soldier. He was stationed at West Point in the 40s.
Oh, wow.
Training horses and training the cadets.
Very
to ride.
cool. That's very cool.
Yeah, and then my father was the first black football player at West Point.
Yep.
So he played there, and then after he graduated, went back to coach. And when he went back to coach, I was born on campus, a stone's throw from Mikey Stadium.
Very nice.
It's been in my blood since birth.
I love it. I love it. That's awesome. Well, like I said, thank you very much for coming on with us today. We were both military brats. You know, my father was a Marine. We moved around. What was your favorite duty station growing up? Like favorite memories of sort of traveling all over the place?
I would probably have to say Greece. My dad was stationed at Hellinikon Air Force Base in Gofada, right outside of Athens. And so those were kind of my first memories.
Okay.
And sitting in our apartment, I really remember we would go out on the patio, and there was an airport right across the way. So we would hear the planes coming over. And so I would sit out there with my sister and my parents would say, okay, that sounds like a DC-9. That sounds, you know, and we would guess we would guess is American, is it Delta, what is it? But just that time in Greece was formative times. Yeah. It was a beautiful place.
How old are we at this point?
I was, at that time was probably, we were there, I was 5 to 7 or 8 years old.
Yeah.
But just being able to go on post and seeing my dad and his fatigues and people saluting him and him saluting, I was like, oh man, this is kind of cool. And I didn't realize, you know, then we moved, we went to Belgium, we were all these places. Yeah. I thought that was a normal childhood for everybody, but I absolutely loved it.
I got to say, you had a better deal than I got. My father's a Marine, and we bounced back and forth between the East and West Coast. It wasn't terrible, but we never made it to Greece or Belgium. So,
and you know, I was like I said, I thought that was normal. Now, I got the short end of the stick because I'm the only kid that was born in the States. My sister was born in Panama. My brother was born in Belgium. So I'm like, they have dual citizenship. But you know, being born on West Point is something cool in and of itself.
Yeah, it's almost like its own thing, right? So, I don't want this to come across the wrong way. You were 6'7", basketball star. Like the Army basketball team could have used you. We didn't think about taking that appointment.
Well, you know, I think I started getting recruited. Okay. And I wanted to go because of my father.
Yeah, for sure.
And he just said, son, that's not your path.
Wow.
And I appreciate that because I don't know if the hospital is now the admissions, the admissions office. I don't know if they would have let me in.
Interesting.
You know,
all right.
I had okay grades.
Yeah.
You know, and I wanted to, and I would have.
Sure.
But my father's like, hey, it's not your path. Son.
Okay.
Which I appreciate.
Okay.
But I've always had that tie, and I always keep military close. And we're lucky enough where Coach Harbaugh is a massive military component. We have Steve Claggett, who's a former Navy SEAL, is in our personnel department now. So you understand the similarities between the military and what we do, and so it's always around me, which is great.
That's cool. All right, so let's talk a little bit about football. The process of bringing Army-Navy to Baltimore. Like, there are a lot of old school people who think it should always be in Philadelphia. I personally have enjoyed the like traveling roadshow. What goes into bringing the game here? I mean, you're involved in that, right?
It's tertiary, you know, but it is a years long process. Yeah, and you got to show why it would be good, how you can help promote the game, promote the academies, because that's important. So it's a years long process. It's a lot of stress. Personally, I think it's now. I'm a traditionalist, sure. And I went to Veterans Stadium, and I've been to the Meadowlands. Yeah. But bringing it here to Baltimore, I'm looking at the stadium right over your shoulder. There are hotels everywhere. You can walk everywhere. Yes. To it, and it's close proximity, which is good and bad for me to the Naval Academy. It's not too far away from West Point, but it's just I think the people in Baltimore and the people in Maryland understand the importance, and we have a lot of there's a big military connection here. You know, the Star Spangled Banner was written, you know, a mile over that way, so there's such a connection to the military and to the birth of our country, that it's why not have it here? It's a great place to be.
We have really enjoyed the setup. You know, we got in last night, and I mean, rolled the red carpet out for us. It's been unbelievable. So thank you very much for having us. I just can't say thank you enough. I know you're a Star Wars fan. Rob tells me that I have to ask: prequels, OG trilogy, sequel trilogy, like what are we?
It's all OG trilogy.
Okay,
that's that's another one of those core memories. Was we were living in Belgium.
Yeah,
and at that time it would take a couple of years for movies to get overseas, and so I remember sitting outside on post, waiting in line to go into, because my grandfather was telling us about Star Wars and how amazing it was, and sitting in line and then going in, and Colonel, my dad would call him Colonel would say, okay, we go get our popcorn and our Cokes. We got to get there early, and we sit there, and you have to wait for the Star Spangled Banner, and you cannot touch your popcorn or Coke until the movie starts. So we're there for an hour. The Coke is flat and it's warm.
Yeah.
But that was my first interaction. I was like, oh my gosh. And so and my wife is a Star Wars fan, luckily enough.
Oh, there you go.
And so when our oldest was 4, we had moved to a new house, and there were DVDs everywhere. And she's like, "Mommy, what's this?" She goes, "Oh, that's Mommy and Daddy's favorite movie." So she watched A New Hope, and she fell in love with it. And so my wife called me. And so I go home, and she had watched it. And so I have a picture. She's sitting next to me, and I'm holding, my son is 3 weeks old, and we watch Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, that's
amazing.
Amazing.
One of my favorite things. So we are a Star Wars family. Now, I watch the prequel, I watch everything, but it's always the OGs.
Okay. All right. Rob says that the only correct answer is Rogue One. Thoughts on Rogue One?
I love Rogue One.
Yeah,
I thought it was outstanding.
Yeah.
Like other than the 3 trilogies, Rogue One is probably next in line. I just watched it last weekend. You know, as we're hanging out and we're cleaning up. But Rogue One is fantastic. You look at something that has been around for 45 years, and you still have, you know, my kids are like, they can't wait for the new Mandalorian movie to come out this spring. It's just something that's so enduring. And again, it's a core memory with my parents and with my sister. And now I'm able to share that with my kids. It's just amazing.
All right, so let's talk a little football. Have you been keeping up with the Army team this season?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So who has impressed you this year on the team?
I'll tell you what. I think it always starts with the quarterback.
Okay.
You know? All right. And understanding it's an up and down season.
Sure.
We have had an up and down season. Where our offensive coordinator cousin is the head coach there. So we understand that. But really, it doesn't matter. You know, but my Colonel always told me growing up, you could be 0-10.
Sure.
If you win Army-Navy, it's a successful year. So I'm bummed that I'm not going to be able to be here. We're playing in Cincinnati this weekend. So
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Wow, that stinks. Okay.
So, but I have my iPad. We have Wi-Fi.
Okay.
So I'll have it on the flight. We have our production meetings when we land, and I always warn the crew. I don't mean to be rude, but I'm going to have my iPad with Army-Navy. So I think it's going to be a close game. I think Army pulls it out. Maybe like 2017 at the end of the game, you know, a little goal line push. But
I was going to ask you what you thought the team needed to do to win the game. Right? Obviously, Black Knights are underdogs. That is okay.
Yeah.
You know, they played better on the road this season, and I would personally consider this a road game. That's okay. So if you had 1 or 2 things that you thought they had to do this weekend to get a win, what are we talking about?
I mean, obviously the most important thing whenever is you protect the ball.
Okay.
And be able to, because we know they've taken a few more shots downfield that I can remember in the last couple of years.
Absolutely.
So you protect the ball, and when you have those opportunities, you have to take advantage of it.
Okay.
You know, in Navy, there have been times where, you know, you've seen, I think maybe both sides, you come in a little overconfident because you've had such a great season, and the other academy might not have.
Yeah.
So maybe take advantage of that. But if you protect the ball and you hit on those downfield shots when you take them, I think that's the key to the game. It's going to be close.
Yeah.
But I feel it in my bones that Army's gonna pull it out in the end.
I love it. And we've had several people that we've interviewed, and everybody's, I keep up with the team, and like not everybody has kept up with the team. So thank you for actually keeping up with the old Army team. I love it, man.
I'm telling you, every Saturday, Colonel and I are on the phone and we're watching, and Ross Tucker, who does a lot of our games, had done them for so long. He's like, I haven't been to West Point yet, but you know, it's in our blood. And particularly Army-Navy, no matter where we were in the world, Armed Forces Network would always show it. Saturday, everything's shut down in the Steele household for Army-Navy. So it's always going to be a part of me, the goods and the bad. But it's been an up and down season at Kansas State. You look at the game, it's so you see those glimmers, but I really feel like you connect on those downfield shots, you have a chance.
The highest highs and the lowest lows all this season. It's been crazy. So thank you very much for coming on with us. Anything you want our audience to take away about the city of Baltimore, the Baltimore Ravens, you personally? I mean, I don't know what you have going on. It doesn't seem like side hustles are in for an executive with the Ravens.
No, it is 24 hours, 7 days a week with the Ravens. But you know what? Baltimore is such a great city. I didn't have it on my bingo card coming up that this is where I would spend my adult years and raise my family. But it's a fantastic city. And as I said, there are a lot of military connections. The weather seems like it's going to be fantastic.
I think we're going to do okay.
But I think the pageantry of the game is reflected in the city. It's important to us to have this game here because of our connections to, as I said, the beginning of the country and the military and around here. So it's walking distance from everything. I've been to the Meadowlands. I've been to the old vet. I've been to the Link. I've been to Foxborough. This really just seems like the best place for it to be.
I love it. Favorite Army-Navy memory?
Oh my gosh! I would have to say probably the 2017 in the snow with the white uniforms.
Love it.
And being able to punch it in at the end. And unfortunately, I was not able to be at that game. We were on the road, but my sister and my nephew were with my dad, and she was sharing videos of him. He had his Letterman jacket on, and they scored, and he's just cheering. So I think that probably has to be my favorite one because we won, and to see how happy my father was.
That's awesome. I love it. Well, Chad, thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate your time today.
Absolutely.
We won't keep it, but thank you very much. And go Army, beat Navy.
Beat Navy. Thanks for having me.
Love it. I have no idea how long that went, but it was perfect.